Hi, this is EZarchitecture podcast. This is Hsiang.
And this is Guido.
We're two architects in New York City, and we talk about architecture and design related issues. And in this episode, we're going to continue from last week's conversation about the Dream Closet project. Last week we talked about the capsule hotels, the tiny little micro hotel, really, since there's a few examples here in New York. And we want to take inspiration from a lot of the efficiency, functional aspect, those designed into those hotel, and we want to find ways to kind of create a closet based on those theories. So one of our favorite from last week was actually the 9 hour hotel.
Yes. It was it is like a really great example of pragmatic and functional design. Basically, it's you have to just follow whatever they tell you regarding, where you put your stuff, where are the elevators, where is your room, where is your bathroom, and pretty much everything is completely designed in a way that there is nothing.
It's extremely minimal. I mean, literally, if you look at the diagram, I mean, they really cut it down to the very, very bare bone. I mean, there's no, it's a super modern
no
design.
Waste.
Yeah, there's no waste. Everything is white. I mean, there's some, element that's shared in the requirement of a closet. We want a closet to look very simple and very straightforward. A lot of time, I think people make the mistake of having something like having too many things. I mean, inevitable. I mean, that's what the closet is for. But when you have everything exposed, like an open closet in most cases, it starts to look very cluttered, and it starts to look, really, you go in there, you're just overwhelmed. You're like, oh my God, where do I find things?
You cannot even find your stuff.
Right.
Sometimes, with design, we can say that less is more, and especially with closets.
Right, exactly. So in this case, everything is minimal. So we want to follow this example and do something very similar to this. But to get into it, one of the first things we have to do is to find out exactly, the function of a closet. And I don't just mean storage. I mean actually how the closet will conform to the particular user. And this is an aspect, we do this in architecture, and it's called programming. So do you want to explain, a little bit about what programming is?
Yeah, basically it's us meeting with the client and asking what they need, and we are trying. After that, we're trying to translate those needs in formal requirements. So, for instance, if they need to have a home, that will be okay. How many bedrooms? How many people are inside? How many bathrooms? And then start to go into deeper relationships between the spaces and so on.
Right.
That simple process, but it's a long process that will be easy to adapt to a closet in this case.
Right. And it's really like finding out the nuances of how it is that what the detail, what the individual details on all the functions are. Because when you're using a space, there's a lot of things that you do. The way that you walk into it, the way you walk inside the space, the pattern that you follow. A lot of that is, very. I mean, when imagine you going to work in the morning, that's a very precise. Everyone is always short on time. You're always trying to do the most with the least amount of time so you can get some sleep in there. So there's a very precise pattern that you follow every single morning. You always reach for this clothes in certain location. You always do certain things in certain sequences. You take a shower first, you take a shower second. I mean, it's all, it's finding out what that pattern is and designing something that fit that exactly. So just to start, we, imagine that there is this, we're designing for this working lady, and we came up with a set of diagrams. I mean, they're really right in between diagrams and the architectural drawing, just so that you have a better idea what it looked like. So as you can see, this is our first diagram, and it shows a simple rectangular, walk-through closet. And we wanted to make it walk through because we wanted to make it so that it's like this process. You enter from one end and you come out the other end. You're like fully dressed and ready to go.
So
And
is that what could be an assembly line, we could say?
sort of. I mean, you could say an assembly line, although it sounds a little bit impersonal. It's like a machinery.
Yeah, but it seems like we are We
Right.
keep that as an example.
Right. So certain time you want efficiency, especially when you're pressed for time, you want to get everything on, you don't want to miss anything. I mean, the other problem is that when you have a mess, you often forget things, you forget to take certain things with you,
Or you
you
don't
know.
find them.
Yeah, exactly. So it takes you longer, you're more disorganized, it makes you, I
Right.
mean, you're starting the morning, you wanted to do it
Okay.
efficiently
Hmm.
you
Sure.
know so I mean, as you can see, we separate the closet into different zones. From the left you have the intimate, which will be next to the entrance, from the bedroom side. And then next we have the casual, which is stuff that you wear on the weekend or maybe a casual Friday. And then after that we have a formal zone, which is where the work clothing is. And then finally, on the very end of the closet, right next to the exit, next to the door, outside would be the outerwear, and that in turn is separated into jacket and coat, and then there's a section for shoes. So the next drawing that we're showing you is how the closet will be used on a weekend, because we wanted to, break that efficiency, because on weekends you want to, be a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's a different way of operate. So
Right, it's a different
basically,
mentality.
right. So we are just dividing the closet in
Right.
half, into
So
halves.
there's a swinging partition, with a mirror on it. You open it up, it separates the closet in two. Now you have two closets, one with casual clothing that's open to your bedroom, and then the other closet that's only for the outerwear that will be next to the door, so the guests could put their clothing in there as well when they come for a visit. So,
Right. Yeah, these are ideas.
right,
Of course, if you are on the left side and you forgot something that is on the right side, that somehow you need to use it on a Saturday, okay, we are not so,
right,
basically you move that and you take that thing from the right side. So we are talking about ideas, concepts.
right.
It's not like it has to be written in stone that you cannot cross that. But
Yeah, the thing is trying to figure out what the pattern is and then represent that in a graphical way, and then finding a physical, and then making that into actually a physical, organization pattern that will help you, become more organized and help you make
right,
more sense. And then the next drawing that you see is actually an elevation, or, kind of you're looking at the closet face on. So, and then, vertically, it's also divided into zones. As you can see, we still have the four zones, but because of the height of the individual shelving, that also make a difference. Obviously, you want your top, in a reachable area, and then you want a bottom such as your pants or skirts in your lower area. So it corresponds with where you're putting things on. And then the long-term storage is on the very top all the way across, because it's harder to reach. On the other hand, right next to the door, we have the hat and scarf. Those could be on top shelf as well, because I mean, you're taking them, putting it on your head, so it
hmm,
makes sense for them to be high. And then we leave a little accent area so you can have some flowers, or when you, walk in, you can calm yourself, things like that. So again, we're like trying to design this, to fit an imaginary work pattern, but this will be different depending on who it is you're working for. Everyone has a different pattern, and it's important for you to kind of find out what that pattern is.
right.
Then you could design something that's very, very efficient that will get you, you know,
And
what you need.
yeah, and something that fits your needs.
Right.
Because we are pretty sure that every closet needs to fit every customer or every person, and there are no closets similar to the other one. So
Right.
it's
Everybody's different,
yeah,
so. Anyhow, this is Easy Architecture podcast, the Dream Closet project. We hope that this has been interesting for you. We will come back next week to talk a little bit more about closets, as well as, other things. So
all
until
right.
next time, this is Sean.
This is Guido.
Bye.
Bye.